Oh man, Joe, are we going to talk about the fake feud that?
That wasn't. Yeah, we could talk about it, but it wasn't a fake feud.
Oh man, it really.
Your light is killing me. It keeps lighting your face up.
We gotta talk about it.
Well, people thought that we were really upset at each other.
Yeah.
But I was. The debate was, and this is a constant debate in MMA, whether big muscles enhance you or hurt you. And my take on it is they do both. My take on it is the bigger the muscle, the more power you have. And I think Tyron is a perfect example of a guy who's figured out how to use them perfectly. Like what he does is he conserves his energy, and when he sprints, you can't stop him. So like when he's in the cage and he has these moments of explosion, the amount of horsepower that he can generate in a short period of time is just above and beyond everybody else in the division. And it's a terrifying thing for everybody in the division. But he can't operate at the same pace constantly like some of the guys can. Some of the guys who have less muscle, they're carrying around less mass, they have less oxygen requirements, they can go longer, but they just can't generate the same kind of power. But what Tyron's figured out how to do pretty brilliantly is how to conserve his energy into these bursts. And then now, like his big criticism earlier in his career was that he would gas out as he got into the later rounds. But now he's able to fight 5 rounds no problem. He just fights it at his pace.
Exactly. But that's not exactly I want to start it with this, Joe. Okay, now, for all the people who said that I would never be able to sit down across the table from Joe Rogan, I want to take a special moment to say fuck y'all right now. I'm here, and I attacked Joe Rogan on the internet. I attacked him, and I want to explain. I got the opportunity to explain to you. It's true. I did attack Joe Rogan on it, and I have the opportunity to explain to you why exactly I did that.
Okay.
And I want to do that because I don't want you to think I'm just an asshole.
No, I didn't think you were an asshole at all. It didn't bother me at all.
Oh, okay.
It didn't change my feelings. I never attacked you back.
No, you sure did. But you know what you did do, Joe?
What?
That I couldn't get you to do before that was you actually talked to me.
You were trying to talk to me before that?
I wanted to talk to you, Joe.
I didn't know that.
I had people, because I'm really cool with a lot of UFC fighters, and I said, well, I wonder if he even knows them. But I had people that was especially set out to keep tagging you until you. We're going to get you on the podcast, C.T.
People try to do that. That shit does not work.
Yeah,
this is the best way to not get on the podcast is to get a bunch of people to try to get you on the podcast.
Oh my God! They said C.T. We're gonna get you. Hey Joe, we want to have C.T. on. And my response is always, Joe, he probably don't even know who the fuck I am, man. Just quit tagging me. He don't even know who the fuck I am. Just quit tagging him. Don't bother the man. That was my response to them all the time. I just said, look, don't bother Joe. He's busy. You don't know who the fuck I am. I'm not, not in that league, so don't even bother him. Then I said, well, you know what? I got these fighters. I know all these fighters, and they friendly with me. I said, maybe Joe do know who I am. And I'm like, after a while, maybe Joe just don't like my ass. No. So I said, so when the Tyron Woodley thing came up and Joe was talking about the muscular guy, I said, well, here's my opportunity. I said, hey, Joe, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And as soon as I said, hey, Joe, that motherfucker don't know what the fuck he's talking about, then you responded to me.
Well, I responded to you because I like you.
Oh, wow.
That's why I responded to you.
Yeah,
like,
well, really.
That's why I didn't attack you back.
Yeah.
Like, I get why people. Here's the thing. I get why people would think that I don't respond because I don't like you. I just can't keep up. There's no
man,
way.
I understand the hell.
I found out I have 1.6 million fake followers though.
Oh,
or at
wow.
least apparently that's not a real good measurement. The Twitter audit. It's just people who don't use their account to tweet. Maybe they just check Twitter. I don't know. I don't know whether or not, but I've never paid for any of the fake ones. Whatever. They might be Russian bots. I don't know what it is, but. There's too many people.
Yeah,
if I look at my mentions, and then at least 1% of them are assholes. So you read one asshole's thing, he's like, "Fuck this." You just put your phone down. So it's not a matter of like me not liking people. It's a matter of me it being in an impossible situation. There's no way I can keep up with all those people.
Yeah, you're only one guy. I understand
and
that completely.
I am the only one guy. I don't let anybody fuck with my Twitter. Nobody's doing that. That's all me. So yeah. So if you get a tweet from me, it's from me. And there's no way I can keep up with all of them. So people that try to talk to me and get a hold of me if you think I'm ignoring you. It's just, I'm ignoring everything.
Yeah. Well, now I don't feel so bad. Yeah, that was it. I wanted to get your attention. I was trying to get that. That's why I came out with the attack. And
well, it worked.
Yeah, it did. At least you got. I was trying to be nice for all the time. As soon as I'm an asshole, then he said, I said, "Oh man!" I said, "Hey, okay, Joe, you're absolutely right. I jumped on you. I shouldn't have jumped on you like that." But we do possess a little difference of opinion on the muscle guys.
Right. Yeah, you do. So let's tell me what you think.
Okay. I was trying to explain that, yeah, and I know you have to have known guys like this that are naturally just more muscular,
Yes.
more built, and they look like they lift weights and work out, but they don't.
Right.
Guys like, I know this guy, Herschel Walker.
Sure.
Outstanding athlete, and Bo Jackson, for example. These guys, fantastic athletes, muscular, very muscular guys, but I think if you were born muscular, there's a difference in a guy that goes in the gym and works out 3-4 hours a day and adds muscle on. He started out, a normal guy. But if you were born with that muscle, then you were born with the cardiovascular system, the lungs, and whatnot to support that muscle. And you take it way, way back to guys like Jim Thorpe, okay? Head and shoulders above all the other athletes of his era because he was born that way. So he was born, the good Lord give us the cardiovascular system, the lungs and everything to go along with that extra muscle that we were born with in some cases. Now, I thought that you were making a blanket statement and it covered a lot of, that all muscular guys are going to tire out because of the extra muscle. And I disagree because I think if they were born with that muscle, then they were born with the support system to support that muscle.
I think there's a lot of logic to that. I think it makes sense. But I do think that if you have a certain amount of muscle, like there's just no way you're going to have the same cardiovascular capabilities as someone that's built like a marathon runner. You're not going to have the marathon runner. There's advantages and disadvantages, I think, to all sorts of body types, especially when it comes to fighting. There's a big advantage to being powerful. It's scary. You look at a guy like Woodley, you go, oh shit, you can't stop him. Like the only thing that's going to stop him is him getting tired, or you got to catch him when he's coming in, right? He's just faster than you, stronger than you. So there's benefits to that. But I think that when it comes to you're never going to see a marathon runner that's built like Woodley. They just don't exist. So even though he has the cardiovascular system and the support system that's designed for that build that he's born with, he still is never going to be able to compete with like an elite triathlete because your body has to be smaller. You have to have less oxygen requirements, less weight that you're carrying around. There's no way. But there's benefits. It's a real like balancing act, I think, in MMA because you have to have some muscle. You have to be able to get guys off you. You have to be able to get up from the bottom. You have to be able to explode. You have to be able to close the distance quickly. There's a lot of like real benefits to being powerful. But then there's it's a balancing act,
Yeah, you're right, Joe. But here we go. It's not just muscle. You don't see marathon runners that are 250 pounds either. They can be fat, smooth butterball, and still not. It's not because of the musculature that they just bigger guy. Period. Would have a hard time being a marathon runner. Sure. So the musculature, that's where we have a little, I don't think it's the musculature because that musculature, if you're just born more muscular, and you can look at little kids in grade school and you see some of the kids are going to have a six-pack, they're going to just be built better than the other kids. Yep. And if that muscle, you were born with that muscle, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, Joe. If you were born with that muscle and that musculature, it's not, it's not going to be detrimental, and your system is made for, it's the good Lord made your system able, and it's a bit. But you're right. You won't see anybody built like Tyron Woodley running in the New York Marathon or winning the New York Marathon.
He could run it.
He could run it, but he won't win it.
He's going to be a little bit behind. He'll be right behind Oprah.
Yeah, and me.
Oprah did a marathon at like 4 hours and 20 minutes recently. That's
and
pretty
me.
fucking impressive.
Hey, she would beat me, man.
Yeah.
So, you're right, but I think that that's just a bigger person, period. It's not how they're defined or the definition of musculature. I know Boss Rutan. I talked to Boss Rutan a little bit about it, and I say, hey, man, Boss, you are built like a fucking statue and shit. And he goes, oh, man, he was quick. Hey, man, but I don't lift weights. And I said, you're proving my point.
Right.
You're proving my point, dude. And that's what I'm saying. If you were born that way, you didn't go in the gym and lift weight. I don't lift weight. I don't like to. You're proving my point, boss.
Right.
You're right. You don't. You didn't get that muscle from going in the gym and pumping iron and you were born that way, and so.
Well, he was born that way, but Boss also does a tremendous amount of plyos, like a lot of explosive stuff, like all of his bag work. You ever see Boss hit the bag?
Oh my God,
Jesus
tremendous,
Louises.
man! Oh man, that dude is bad.
He's ferocious.
Yes,
and everything he does like with 1,000% effort. So. His workouts, like he would tell me that the way he would work out was when he would prepare for a 5-minute round, when he would start to get in shape, he would go as hard as he could for like a minute and then like be exhausted. And then he would work himself up to 1.5 minutes, then he'd work himself up to 2 minutes. And then by the end of his training camp, he could go 5 minutes full clip. I'm like, that's a fucking crazy method.
It fucking worked, though, didn't it?
But against that, his boss's body started to deteriorate because he's so goddamn tough. Like, he has no cartilage in his knees. His knees are completely shot. He kept shooting cortisone in all of his joints, like whenever he'd have injuries, so his joints are all fucked up. He's got tendonitis everywhere.
Wow.
And it's just his mind was too strong for, like, the vehicle that it was carrying his mind around.
Wow. Yeah. He's
ferocious dude.
Still one. He's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
What do you think about Matt Hughes?
I love Matt Hughes.
Okay, how's he built?
He's built like a tank.
Have you ever seen him gas out?
Well, no, but Matt Hughes in his day. Let me see how to put this. Like, first of all, he's not built like a tank, like maybe the way Woodley's built is a little bit more slight than Woodley, but still pretty goddamn thick. But also, like, what he was able to do, too, was he was such a good wrestler. He was able to dictate where the fight takes place. And a good wrestler can control situations, take guys down, and then, once you're on top, like, you get a break. You could rest, and then, he would use his ground and pound and submit guys. He was one of the first guys ever, too, that was a high-level wrestler that started submitting dudes.
Yeah.
Submitted George St. Pierre. A lot of people forget about that.
Yeah, I remember that. George is a good friend of mine, too, but also built really well.
Built like a brick shit house. Yeah, another one.
And cardio is pretty damn good.
Not bad.
Yeah, you're making my point for me.
Well, it's just I just think there's requirements, right?
Yeah.
And if you can get into a physical shape where you can use those muscles the way you need to do, the way you need to do inside the octagon. I mean, there's obviously a great benefit to being muscular.
Well, I think that guys that were naturally born like that, and I think St. Pierre and Hughes both were. I mean, it wasn't Matt a farm boy?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think those guys were born.
Sure, his brother's built just like him too.
Yeah, and if you're born like that, then I think But the guys that go in the gym and put on muscle. They add the muscles are what they call built. I call built muscle.
So they have smaller hands, smaller frame.
Yeah, when you got that built muscle tires out real fast. And I agree with you 100% on a guy that has built muscle that went into the gym and pumped iron and got his muscles that way. I agree with you 100%, Joe. You're absolutely correct. He's going to tire out those added on muscles. The oxygen's going to suck the wind, and he's going to be tired as fuck in no time.